If you're looking for some affordable destination to put on your travel list, here are some suggestions for you. India. A country of contrasts is a travel writing cliché, but this definitely describes India. India is a cheap backpacking destination with a rich cultural history and mouth-watering food. It's a gigantic place best either explored in either one large trip or a few smaller chunks. It is perhaps the cheapest country to travel to, but if and only if you're willing to haggle and hunt for deals. You will be hard-pressed to find cheap gems in the north, but the south with its gorgeous beaches may prove more fruitful when it comes to budget accommodation. Due to the chaos and patience needed, India may not be the first overseas country to tackle, but many regions have a reputation for being particularly easy to travel. Mexico. Mexico is consistently one of our favorite places to travel on a budget. With a street food culture rivaled only by its forward-looking restaurant scene, you'll be spending most of your money on eats. Mexico City is a foodie's paradise. You can catch one of Mexico's reliable Edu buses from Cancun and it will take you to Mérida for a very reasonable price. If you like the idea of budget activities, there are numerous museums throughout Mérida that can be accessed either for free or for an extremely small fee. Additionally, there are free events that take place almost every single night in the city's central plaza. But make sure to leave some bucks to visit all the cultural wonders the city has to offer. Costa Rica. Costa Rica has quickly developed into the most popular budget destination to visit in Central America. The Costa Rican colón has depreciated a bit in recent months, but it still remains favorable for U.S. travelers. There are many waterfalls throughout Costa Rica and they're all beautiful and adventurous to explore. I recommend exploring them on an overnight hike or camping trip so that you can get up close to them and take in their beauty. Because of Costa Rica's ability to be experienced all year round, travelers can enjoy a plethora of activities including surfing, snorkeling, kayaking, and stand-up paddle boarding. This is one of the best countries to visit for budget travelers that love the outdoors. Thailand. Thailand is back. And now is a perfect time to visit, with tourism fully back. For the best prices, make your way to the northern Chiang Mai region and you'll be in budget travel heaven. Amid the rice fields, Buddhist temples, and hill tribes you can find some of the best value accommodation. Budget street food which can be found for as little as $1. Local buses, and the many cheap and free attractions. If you stick with eating street food, not only will you save yourself some money but the experience will be much more authentic and delicious, too. However, even at the price, Thailand is still one of the most bargain-friendly destinations in the world and should not be skipped. Laos. Even in a region of budget-friendly destinations, Laos stands out. It's hard not to be captivated by the slow pace of the country. Head just north of elegant Luang Prabang to riverside Nong Khaw, where for small change you can bag a waterside bungalow. Many of the amazing activities you can do in Laos are cheap. You can pay $2.50 to see one of the most beautiful waterfalls in the world, $7 for a full-day tubing experience along the Vang Vieng River, and $6 for an awesome tiger balm massage. You can also rent a motorbike for cheap and venture off to the smaller towns, where everything is even cheaper. Vietnam. Vietnam is one of the cheapest Asian countries, and one of the most exciting. The country's greatest attraction is its sublime countryside, from the limestone karsts of the north to the waterways and paddy fields of the Mekong Delta. With blissful beaches and frenetic cities crammed in between, it's one of the most beautiful places in Vietnam. Then there's the cuisine. Pull up a stool at a pho stall and for only a couple of dollars you'll eating some of the best food on offer, shoulder to shoulder with the locals. If you rent a motorbike, you are all set for the day. Reliable accommodation is similarly pleasant and easier to afford than almost anywhere else in the world. Prague, Czech Republic. Despite being firmly on the tourist, not to mention bachelor party, trail these days, Prague still remains one of Europe's cheapest capital cities to visit. For just a few Czech crowns you can enjoy a hearty meal of Czech food, washed down with decent local Czech beer. The city itself is a beauty, crammed full of history and perfect for leisurely explorations by foot. Local transportation is reliable and affordable, and if you plan to do a lot of traveling, consider getting a 3-day pass for $16. Czech cuisine is very hearty and large in portion. Cuba. See it before it changes, is the familiar refrain when it comes to Cuba. Most trips to Cuba start and end in Havana. Full of free spirit, crumbling buildings and classic American cars, Havana is a heady mixture of the rundown and the sophisticated, charged with an undercurrent of excitement and vigor. Hit the salsa clubs of Havana, get caught up in the heady July Carnival of Santiago, or dip your toes in the warm Caribbean at one of the picture-perfect beaches on Cuba. With none of the typical signs of globalization, vintage cars still driving through the streets. Wander past colorful facades to check out grandiose monuments like El Capitolio, the National Capitol Building. Some time on the beach is definitely next on the cards. Spending some time in Cuba is guaranteed to be a unique experience. Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Kuala Lumpur is a relatively inexpensive destination to visit. It's also inexpensive, or in some cases, free, to visit the country's pristine beaches, limestone caves, and some of the most beautiful tea plantations. There are some iconic sites such as the Petronas Twin Towers, the KL Tower, Batu Caves, Thian Ho Temple, and Masjid Wilayah to see in Kuala Lumpur. The Go KL city buses run through all important points of interest in the city. Jalan Alor in Bukit Bintang is a famous night street food market that is popular in the city. Malaysia is also one of the cheapest places in the world to get a PADI scuba diving certificate. All these factors make Kuala Lumpur one of the cheapest places to travel to for budget travelers. Portugal. Portugal remains one of the best bargains in Western Europe, and is especially worth considering if you want to avoid the more crowded resorts and cities of Spain. With beautiful beaches, a rolling wine country, stunning seaside cliffs, delicious food, jovial locals, and historic cities all at bargain prices. If you are looking for a cheap place to spend winter in Europe, Portugal is one of your best options. Which one of this beautiful destination will you travel next? Comment down below and let us know. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this content.